So I am just going to take a moment to explain what inspired this video, as we do not normally do road trips. The idea first began when we found out that some of my family was going to be in Hershey, Pennsylvania during a time that we did not have anything planned. The second motivation was to turn the visit into a road trip that would take us to places along the East Coast that we had never visited. And last, I thought that I would add in what it is like to take such a long road trip in an electric car so that people can get a good idea of what it is like to travel and charge during long journeys. I only showed the stops we made in detail in the first couple of days, since it would get pretty old to watch a car get plugged in again and again throughout the video. I also included a summary at the end of the video that will give you an idea of the time and cost involved on long road trips like this. Now, sit back and enjoy the ride on our journey from Florida all the way to Maine. Beautiful, and the park was really well kept up. It was a great way to spend time with family. After Hershey Park, we came back and checked in at the hotel in Harrisburg near the airport. We stayed here for a couple of nights, and it became kind of our base for the next couple of days, including our day trip over to Philadelphia. The hotel was nice, but the air conditioner was a little bit loud, as well as having some aircraft noise, but that was to be expected since it was an airport hotel. Sheraton in Flushing, simply because it had one of the lowest parking rates, but the hotel actually turned out to be a very nice hotel. Quiet air conditioner, quiet room, and in a really good part in kind of a mini Chinatown in New York City, right near a subway stop. The courtyard at the Asheville Biltmore area was actually a very nice hotel to stay at. It was a new, updated, and had all of the features you could ever want in a simple hotel for the night. Here is a summary of the journey, and I was in no way trying to drive efficiently, if you get what I mean. I never had any problems finding chargers using the Tesla navigation, and I never had to wait for a charger. The shortest stop I had was 11 minutes, and the longest was the full charge at 54 minutes in Fairfax. I'm hoping this gives people out there a better idea of what a road trip in an electric car is like.